One of Congressman Gowdy's colleagues on the House Intelligence Committee is Democrat Adam Schiff of California. We've had a long-running dispute with the congressman on the matter of Russia. That began when he accused us of being agents of Vladimir Putin. You're on the Intel Committee. Let me just ask you one final question. Can you look right into the camera and say, I know for a fact the government of Vladimir Putin was behind the hacks of John Podesta's email?
Absolutely. The government of Vladimir Putin was behind the hacks of our institution and the dumping of information.
Of John Podesta's email.
Not only in the United States, but also in Europe.
Okay, you're not, you know what, you're dodging.
And Tucker,
no, look and say, I know they did. John Podesta's emails, they hacked those.
And I think that Ronald Reagan will be rolling over his grave at you're carrying water for the Kremlin.
I'm not carrying water for the, you're a sitting member of Congress on the Intel Committee, and you can't say they hacked.
You're gonna have to move your show to RT Russian television, because
you know what?
This
That's
is perfect.
Just so
this is perfectly
beneath your
placed.
office, because it's so dumb and you're being duplicitous. I'm asking you, did they hack Podesta's emails? And you can't say it. Look into the camera and say they hacked John Podesta's emails. We know for a fact that Putin's government did that. You can't, and you know you can't, and you're hiding
Tucker,
behind weasel words. That guy's a liar and a demagogue, in case you didn't notice. Bill McGurn is a columnist at the Wall Street Journal. He just wrote a piece asking why Congressman Schiff seems so uninterested in whether the infamous Trump dossier is true. Are the facts in there? Are they right? Mr. McGurn joins us tonight. Bill, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Tucker.
So, obviously, I'm annoyed by Adam Schiff because, in the face of a sincere question, he accused me of being a Kremlin agent and, in effect, unpatriotic. You have, I think, a little emotional distance from this. Tell us your concerns about his behavior as a member of the Intel Committee.
Well, at a basic level, the Intelligence Committee is an oversight committee, right? And oversight committees are charged with getting information, keeping tabs on the government. This man just seems determined not to get information, and certainly not to get it to the American people. You know, when the Republicans put together their memo outlining some of the information they found from the FISA application and so forth, you know, he was asked on CNN, shouldn't the American people see this? And he opted for the Nathan Jessup response in A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. I mean, he doesn't trust the American people. I think, you know, the bias should be toward disclosure. I think there are legitimate things that should not be disclosed. But, you know, we make unclassified summaries of classified information all the time. And remember, he fought the subpoenas of justice. He fought the subpoenas for the FBI. He fought the subpoena for Fusion that eventually led to the news that the Hillary campaign had funded the Steele dossier.
So you're old enough, and I am too, to remember a very different time where the sides were kind of inverted, and it was Democrats, Frank Church of Idaho, for example, who were arguing that the public has a right to know at least the broad outline of what the intel agencies are doing, what law enforcement is doing. It's our government. It's our country. We have a right to know. Democrats used to say that all the time. I agreed with them. When did they stop saying that, and why?
I don't know. I mean, look, to me, there are two big issues. I want to know whether people on the Trump campaign colluded with Russia to affect the election, right? That's something I want to know. I also want to know if people at Justice and the FBI, our two premier law enforcement agencies, put their fingers on the scales for political reasons. Remember, both candidates were under investigation of some sort by the FBI. It's extraordinary. And the most important thing is not prosecutions, it's finding out the truth. And we have a whole lot of people. I mean, when this memo was produced and it came out, you know, it had the hashtag release the memo. You know, Congressman Schiff came out and was blaming it on Russian bots. Well, you can look at it the other way. What does it tell you when Russian bots are more for disclosure than a congressman on the House Intel Committee?
We've invited him many times, including yesterday, to come on and explain that. Explain how he found himself basically practicing McCarthyism.
Yeah, and he's always on the TV shows saying he found more than circumstantial evidence that Donald Trump had colluded, but we haven't seen any of the evidence. It sounds like O.J.'s promises to find the real killer, you know?
Well, he won't come on this show. He hasn't been since December 7th. We're keeping track of last year. So anyway, Bill McGurn, thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Tucker.
Appreciate it.